Hi, I'm Scott Leslie, and today I'm going to review Lupo's Movilight 300 Dual Color Pro. Now this is Lupo's first fixture that has a Bowens mount, and it's a direct competitor to Aputure's 300X.
This is a Cinity review, supported by B&H and CVP.
So the highlights of this light, what sets it apart, is that it doesn't have an external ballast or cables. Everything, all the electronics are right here in the head. It is lighter, it is brighter, and its single COB chip is really great for cutting with either barn doors or with flags. Bowens mount has been around for decades, but it's been mainly in the photography realm. It's not until the LED revolution, when lights got cooler, because lights used to be really hot, that Bowens mounts became popular. With the old tungsten HMI lights, they would melt most Bowens mount fixtures because they're so hot. But now with the new cooler LEDs, Bowens mounts are definitely doable. So what I like about Bowens mount is that it's a standard, and there's already thousands of Bowens mount light modifiers out there, and most of them will fit on this fixture. Now let's talk about the features. One of my favorite features, which I've already mentioned, is there's no external ballast or cables needed with this light. All the electronics are right in the head. So unlike the Aputure 300X, which has the external ballast and the extra cable that you got to plug in, you don't have to bring any of that. It's all right here. So that means for a quick, fast setup and not extra gear you have to carry around. All right, so this is a dual color light. So it goes from 2800K all the way up to 6500K. So I like that extra spectrum. It's more than the 3200 to 5600K that a lot of lights have. It's really nice to have that warmer side going all the way down to 2800K, or the higher end going up to 5600K. So that will make it bluer. Okay, so let's turn around and look at the back. So the back, it has a PowerCon power adapter for AC power. So PowerCon adapters are great. They come in and they turn, so they lock in. You can't pull them out. What's also nice is this has a PowerCon out. So you can go out of here into another light if you're putting these up into a grid or something. All right, so there's also a 4-pin DC in. If you get the Pro Kit, it comes with a V-mount clip and a 4-pin to D-tap. So what you can do is just plug it right into your battery. And I did a test on it with my battery. This is a Neo 150 Hypercore, and the battery lasted for 1 hour and 5 minutes with this light, which is really nice. Okay, so one last thing about the power. So the AC can go anywhere from 90 volts to 240 volts. So no matter where you are in the world, you can plug this in and it'll work. Okay, and then the DC, it can take a battery from 14.8 volts all the way up to 24 volts. So that's a nice range. So next, there is a user changeable fuse. So that's nice, so you don't have to take it in if for some reason you blow the fuse. And there's also a DMX in and out. So this is your standard 5-pin DMX in and out, so if you're using it through a lighting board. All right, so one of the new features that Lupo offers is a Bluetooth. So it now offers Bluetooth capability. It has a brand new app, which is still in the beta. It's still a little buggy, but Lupo says by mid-February, it should be out of beta and it should be more solid. This is Lupo's first time that they've used an app, and that's exciting to see. So it's not as mature as Aputure's app, but hopefully within the next few months, as Lupo continues to develop it, it'll become much more robust. So obviously an app is great because you can remotely through your phone turn your lights on and off, change their output, and actually turn on special effects. So there are some effects here in Lupo's Movilight 300 Dual Color Pro. So there's a strobe effect, there's a lightning effect, there's a black and white TV effect, and there's a paparazzi effect. All these effects, all the parameters are individually tweakable, so you can change kind of speed, duration, and color balance. All right, so now let's talk about build quality. So Lupo uses Technopolymer for all their fixtures instead of aluminum. Now Technopolymer is this super heavy duty material, much better than regular plastic, and it can really take a beating. But it also makes it lighter weight. So this fixture comes in at 11 pounds versus Aputure's 300X, which comes in at 25 pounds. So this is less than half the weight of the Aputure 300X, which is really nice. Right, so it also has this nice heavy-duty metal yoke and a nice braking mechanism. So this braking mechanism is really strong, so you can put any kind of heavy light modifiers on the front of here, the big soft boxes, which I'll show you later, and it'll hold it no problem. So in my years of production, I've come to find out there's kind of these pro instruments, and then there's kind of semi-pro or worse instruments. So I definitely believe that Lupo is in the pro category. So everything here is built solid, it's made to last, and it's really well thought out. I use my Sekonic C800 to measure both the light quality and the light output. Now I measured at 3200K and 5600K at 1 meter, 5 meters, and 10 meters. Now here's what I got. So first notice that throughout the CCT numbers are really close to the target numbers. They are almost right on at the 3200K, and they're a little over 100 points off at the 5600K. Now these are really good readouts and better than most of the lights I've tested. The CRI and TLCI are both good, with over 96 on the CRI and 97 on the TLCI. At 5600K, the Movilight 300 Dual Color Pro at 1 meter reads 15,500 lux with the bare bulb. And with the hyper reflector on, it reads 36,600 lux. Now compare that to the Aputure, which reads 6,300 lux with bare bulb and 20,500 lux with the hyper reflector. So this puts the Movilight 300 Dual Color Pro a good one stop brighter than Aputure's 300X. So that's pretty significant. Now the Movilight does have a slight green shift, so it's 0.6 green, which is a little higher than I'd like to see. Okay, so now let's talk accessories. So the Movilight 300 Dual Color Pro does come with a hyper reflector. So this hyper reflector is included. What it does, it really focuses the light and makes it brighter. So if you saw on the lux number, when you put this hyper reflector on, the light is much brighter. So it just slots into the Bowens mount on the fixture. All right, so if you get the Pro Kit, it comes with this V-mount clamp and the 4-pin to D-tap cable. So the Pro Kit also comes with this really nice heavy-duty black backpack with lots of pockets, which provides plenty of room for the light along with other gear. Lupo also offers the Lupo Dome, which is a Bowens mount 34-inch wide, 27-inch deep softbox with a 40-degree honeycomb egg crate included. This is very similar in size and functionality to Aputure's Light Dome, with a similar quick-release speed ring for rapid build and breakdown. What is different is that the material around the softbox is more robust and not as flimsy. It's similar to what you'd find in a Shamir or a Snapbag softbox, so really nice quality. Lupo is still in the design phase of a Fresnel modifier and a barn door attachment, but because it is a Bowens mount, you can use third-party accessories. For example, the Nanlite Fresnel attachment works perfectly. I do really like that Lupo is now making fixtures with Bowens mounts. I like the idea of having one standard and having a ton of different modifiers that you can use on different brands and different types of lights. In conclusion, there's a lot of positives about Lupo's Movilight 300 Dual Color Pro. First of all, is the fact that there's no ballast or extra cables to deal with. Everything is right here in the head, which means for a faster, easier setup and less stuff to carry around. So next, it's lighter. So it has excellent build quality, but it's half the weight of Aputure's 300X. It comes in at 11 pounds, where the Aputure 300X comes in at 25 pounds. Next, it's brighter. So it is a one-stop brighter than Aputure 300X. And fourth, the COB chip in the light is really good for cutting the light with barn doors or with flags. That's a nice clean cut. Now, the Lupo's Bluetooth app is not as advanced as Aputure's app. Hopefully that will be getting better within the next few months. The other downside is that it does have a slight green shift. It's 0.6 green, which is slightly higher than I like to see. But as chips get older, they usually get more magenta. So over time, this will be less green, but for now, it is slightly green. And the last thing I want to mention is that the fan is a little bit loud. I don't know if you've been able to hear it here from my boom mic as I've been talking, but it is a little bit louder than I would like. I find that it's the same with the Aputure lights, that the fans are louder now. So this is, to me, it's not a deal breaker. I don't have the lights this close hardly ever, but it's something you should be aware about. So if you're in the market for a light that's bright, that can be either hard light or soft light, depending on what kind of modifiers you put on it, and that has a Bowens mount, you might want to check out Lupo's Movie Light 300 Dual Color Pro.